Merry Christmas, everyone. I hope you all had a fantastic Christmas with your friends and family. And I hope that you all just had a day full of joy, bliss, and hope. So, I'm going to discuss today how my Christmas went. And overall, I'd say it was pretty successful. When I woke up, I of course greeted our family friend and my mom with a Merry Christmas and a hello. And then I immediately took a shower. The shower lasted from like 8:15 a.m. to 9:15 p.m. So like really long. I was really tired and I just was like forcing myself to clean myself and I was like didn't want to, but I did it anyways, and I'm glad I did because hygiene is important. But after I was done with that, I got out and our family friend wanted to go get Starbucks for me, my mom, and her. She asked me which Starbucks I would like, and I looked at the menu and I thought that the Starbucks with the eggnog looked pretty good. I've never tried that flavor before, so I asked if we could get it, but sadly, on the phone it was stated that the eggnog was sold out. But it was at a certain location. So I thought, well, if you can't get it there, maybe there's a different location you can get it to. So I asked our family friend if it would be alright if we could go to that location instead. She said that she would not want to go on a wild goose chase for eggnog coffee, and she said she preferred if I chose just coffee other than the eggnog one instead. So I decided to choose the caramel brulee coffee. Then she ended up leaving, and I decided to leave with her in their car. I had to move a few things out from the front of the driver's seat, and we were off. Then she decided to take me to a different Starbucks because she wanted me to get my Starbucks eggnog drink, and we thought that this one would have the beverage. I thanked her deeply for the surprise, and I went inside to get the drink, but I found out that the drink was sadly not being sold at that place either. So I ended up just getting the caramel brulee there instead. And as I was waiting, I was opening doors for the customers in the building who were leaving, and I said Merry Christmas to all of them, as well as the person who was running the store as well, and the person who served me. And yeah, once that was delivered, I left, and our family friend was confused if I found out they didn't have the eggnog drink there, why did I just go out, say it, and then we just go to the Starbucks we were going to in the first place? And I said, well, I don't know. I guess I just really wanted that caramel brulee. So we got it, and we drove off, and I ended up going inside to pick up the other drinks. I asked the cashier if it would be possible to get a tray to put the drinks in, and they said that I could help myself because there was a tray already available to take out and put the drinks in. So I did exactly that. but when I went in the car and sat down, some of the liquid was sloshing around and looked like it was going to spill on me. I was like, oh no. And then I realized, wait a minute, doesn't Starbucks normally put little like plastic coverings on top of the drink to ensure that it won't get any fluid everywhere when you pick it up? But apparently, our family friend told me that they stopped making that mandatory and now you have to ask for it. Which, I don't know, I think that's kind of silly because that's something that I think should be a common courtesy. Like, I mean, it would be like if I walked into a like store and they didn't have the mat for me to dry my feet in case it was raining outside, and I had to ask them, "Hey, could you put the mat in front so I can dry my feet so I won't slip and fall?" Um, it's kind of like that. Like, I guess that's an extreme example, but I mean, hey, I got the drink spilled a little bit on me, so I don't know. I think it's a valid criticism, but I don't know. I guess first world problems, but still, it's a shame something that used to be a common courtesy is now something you have to ask for, which doesn't seem as courteous anymore. Sad. Anywho, we drove off, and our family friend decided to stop by the donut store and get donuts for everyone. She gave me the money to pick the donuts. She said she wanted a bear claw. We called my mom. She wanted a cinnamon roll donut. And we tried contacting my sister, who ended up saying that she wasn't interested in a donut and she would make her own coffee as well. So I got the cinnamon roll, I got the bear claw, and then I got a chocolate donut with peanuts on it. And then I realized, wait a minute, I'm gonna buy one for myself. The cinnamon crumble donut looked pretty good to me, so I got that, and I paid our family friend the difference. So, yeah, I said Merry Christmas to the staff that worked there, and I left and got in the car, and we drove off, and we all hung out, drank our Starbucks, and ate our donuts, and it was a very lovely and cozy Christmas morning. Then my sister got up from bed and greeted us, and we were hanging out, and we were just talking and enjoying each other's company. But then we had a movie scheduled to that we need to be at by 11:55 p.m. But it was recommended by the ticket clerk that we needed to be there a half hour early. So our family friend decided to leave first, and then when they left, my mom, my sister, and I started to leave in the other car. But my mom asked me if I could check to make sure I had the tickets in my wallet, and I remember last night that that's exactly where I put the tickets. However, for whatever reason, when I was digging through my wallet, I could not find the tickets, and it was driving me absolutely bananas. I went and I apparently had a lot of old receipts that I don't need anymore, and then I dug through all of the credit cards, or not credit cards, but gift cards and old cardboard cards that were in the wallet, and my mom got so worried that I left it in the car that she went and checked the inside of my car to make sure they were there, and they weren't, because I remember the last place I put them was my wallet. And she checked the room, and ultimately I just kept on looking until eventually I did find. I went to my room and took everything out of my wallet until I found exactly what I was looking for. The 5 tickets were just buried super deep in the wallet. So it was exactly where I left it. It's just that the tickets were lost amongst all the garbage that I need to throw out. of my wallet. So once we found the tickets, we all left, and my mom drove us off there. And when we got there, my middle sister was going to be there in 8 minutes, so we went off into the front and were waiting for her arrival. Eventually, she did arrive. We went to the ticket booth, showed our tickets, got in. Our family friend wanted to get something from the concession to share with us. She got a pretzel. And then we went into the theater to watch the new SpongeBob movie, the SpongeBob movie Search for SquarePants. So when we got in there, some trailers played, and overall, a lot of the trailers, it was interesting. Like there was one with Hugh Jackman as like a sheep herder, and the sheep, like there's like he dies, and the sheep need to find out who did it because they liked their shepherd, and yeah, that looked kind of cute. There was another movie made by Sony Pictures Imageworks that looks very akin to the K-pop Demon Hunters and Spider-Verse animation style, where it's about like a goat character, anthropomorphic goat character that plays basketball with a group of unlikely alliances, and they all have to work together to beat the big bad team. And overall, I liked the art style. I thought it had a good like visual look to it. I wasn't a fan of all the bathroom humor, which feels like so lowbrow and like poorly thought out, and not exactly what I would call like compelling at all. So that was quite disappointing. But the visuals look nice. And yeah, that's about what I remember from that. Oh yeah, there was like a Cat in the Hat movie being advertised. It looked okay, I guess. And yeah, I think that's like the last movie that was like advertised. And then there was a short that played before the SpongeBob movie. It was a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles like holiday short, where it was about the four turtles that are shopping for Splinter, but then they find a commercial that is using their likeness to sell like a knockoff brand of their faces and their like action figure and all that. So they tried to find who's responsible for making the products. They find this robot, half human cyborg dude who goes over his backstory and then talks about like how he created the knockoff toys of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and how the turtles like don't pretty much say like he pretty much stole every single plot summary of every famous media for the last 20 years and put it in like one little monologue. And he said, okay, I basically just Googled what you guys looks like and copied it and marketed it and sold you out. And so they decided to go on a fight against this guy when he threatened to basically either starve them to death or give them blunt force trauma. So they fought him, and because like he was an AI, he like copied their abilities and knew exactly how to combat them. So they had to act smart, and they were like, "Oh, okay, we need to do ridiculous moves, so when he tries copying us, he ends up hurting himself instead of hurting us with our moves." And so they did that, and the AI ended up getting taken out by their plan. and they were like, we're not a huge fan of AI. It's pretty sucky. So one of the characters even had ChatGPT on their phone, and they decided to delete it off. They even call it ChatGPT in the short, which I thought was kind of funny. Little name drop, and then they say, "Yeah, I'm deleting this." So it's kind of hilarious. I would imagine they would need to get permission from OpenAI to use the word ChatGPT, right? But the fact that like they pretty much diss it, and then like at the end, like one of the characters deletes it, sort of makes this like an anti-advertisement of ChatGPT, which makes it all the more funny and hilarious. And then they end up going back to their home base where Splinter's sleeping, and they decide to see what Splinter got them for their gifts. And he ended up getting them the knockoff toys, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle toys that the evil robot made, which they did not like because they didn't like the evil robot guy. So that was pretty much the short, and overall I have to say that it was a lot of fun. It was really enjoyable. It had a lot of like snarky and tongue-in-cheek humor in it, and the animation was just absolutely astounding. It's really clear that the team who developed the visual look of it were heavily inspired by Spider-Verse, and they did their best to kind of emulate it while still kind of finding their own footing, which is always nice to see. And I really liked it. It was a lot of fun. I give it a 2 thumbs up. After that, the movie for Search for SquarePants played, and watched it from beginning to end. And in this movie, it's what I find interesting about it is that it's directed by Derek Dramone, and if people don't know who he is, he was one of the originators of SpongeBob SquarePants. I mean, it was mainly just created by Steven Hillenburg, but he got help from other artists that were working with him at the time. And one of them was Derek Dramone to help finalize the look and feel of the cartoon. And he was also like a storyboard artist and a writer for the show all the way up until the first movie back in 2004. And then after that, he parted ways and worked on other things. But now he has returned to the SpongeBob franchise since 2004 with this new movie, like 21 years later, which is kind of crazy. And so I was like watching this, like thinking, okay, will this remind me of classic SpongeBob, where like they got the humor down really good? It was really clever and thoughtful, and the animation is really smooth and nice, and like just has it treats the audience with respect and all that. And overall, I would say that the way that the main character SpongeBob acts in this movie is definitely more like calm and thoughtful than he is in a lot of newer episodes, which I do appreciate. I don't like when he's completely brain dead. I like it when he has sense about him. He's just naive and, doesn't know, like he's approaching things in earnest, but doesn't know exactly how to approach them in a way that's the most effective. Which makes him endearing. If he's just like a complete brain dead dummy that just does things like because that's I'm just gonna do this with no thought process behind it, it makes them really unbearable and something that I'm like, this is so annoying. For this movie, on that rating of brain dead SpongeBob to classic SpongeBob, I would rate it kind of in the middle in terms of like how the character was portrayed in this movie. I feel like he definitely felt like the way Tom Kenny performed the character and the way he was portrayed was definitely very reminiscent of like the classic SpongeBob episodes. And one of the coolest things about the movie, in my opinion, was the fact that the soundscape, like the music used in it, was a lot of classic old tunes from seasons 1 through 3, which I greatly appreciated because I love that classic Hawaiian music from back in those early seasons. And hearing that like on a big screen with some nice looking computer animation was pretty surreal and pretty cool, and I did like that. Um, and yeah, the animation, speaking of that, it was really, really nice. It did a great job emulating the traditional 2D animation style of the original series. And I thought that the team just did a great job with making it reminiscent of those classic seasons in terms of the framing and storyboarding and the pacing. But then again, the pacing, in my opinion, in this movie overall was a little too fast. Like, I think one of the things that made classic SpongeBob so iconic and stick in people's memories for as long as it has a lot to do with just how things were paced back in the day. Like, jokes weren't just like, oh, here's another one. I mean, sure, there was like a lot of classic jokes that just came one after the other in the original show. I'll acknowledge that. But if somehow they made it feel like there was enough room for these jokes to breathe and really hit you where like the funny bone is. But this one, it felt like a lot of the jokes and humor did feel a little on the rushed side, which is kind of disappointing, not gonna lie. The story, it's kind of interesting. It's like, but also really silly. But I mean, it is SpongeBob, so what do you expect? It's about SpongeBob realizing that he is now tall enough to ride the world's largest and most dangerous roller coaster with his buddy Patrick. And then when he finally sees this thing, he realizes, oh, maybe this isn't such a great idea. This thing looks terrifying. I don't want to ride this. So he decides to leave and go back to work. And then Mr. Krabs hears that he like was too afraid to go on the coaster, so he tries to build up the excitement in him to be a big guy by telling him about how he was like this brave and like noble pirate that was able to conquer the seven seas and have a lot of positive attributes. And then SpongeBob decides he wants to have those attributes too, but he doesn't know where to start until eventually he goes to the very bottom of the Krusty Krab with Mr. Krabs' old pirate garb. And then he's like, oh man, it's the Dutchman pipe. Let me try that out. So he blows on the pipe and then he ends up summoning the Flying Dutchman. And the Flying Dutchman decides to take him and Patrick on an adventure where he basically uses the Dutchman to, or the Dutchman uses SpongeBob to try to break his curse, which apparently is that he's like a ghost, and like if he's able to find someone who's willing and pure of heart to go through a bunch of challenges, he can trade places with them and become like a real dude again. So yeah, he does this by going to the underworld and finding like these different challenges to do. And Mr. Krabs realizes that like SpongeBob's gonna be in trouble, so he tries to go and save him, but by the time he gets there, it's too late. So he decides to find the Flying Dutchman's location at Bikini Bottom High, where it's like in a Davy Jones locker and all. And him, Squidward, and Gary the Snail go on a little quest to try to get SpongeBob back. And all throughout, SpongeBob and Patrick are being goofy and silly. And while in the meantime, the Dutchman's patience is eroding due to how goofy and silly SpongeBob and Patrick are. And yeah, that's pretty much the plot in a nutshell. And overall, I would say that, I mean, I think I've seen all of the SpongeBob movies, and if I were to rate this one, I mean, now that I'm thinking back at it, like, okay, so there's this little spoiler for this movie. Mr. Krabs at the beginning was hyping out about how much of a like cool captain dude he was back in the day, only to reveal to SpongeBob the truth that he was a fry cook on a ship, and that he decided to summon the Flying Dutchman so he could prove that he was a real man instead of a coward, only to be scared out of his wits once entering the underworld and leaving. But that makes me wonder. Okay, so if that's the case, then why at the beginning does he have all of that like pirate supplies? Like it made sense before when he was hyping himself up to be like, oh look at me, I have like all this stuff because I'm a swashbuckling winner. But when he's revealed to be a loser at the end of the movie, um, why why would he have a stash of all that stuff if he didn't go on those adventures? Seems kind of like a plot hole to me, unless, of course, he just was given all those things after his adventures. But, anyways, that's besides the point. I just, realized that as I was talking about this movie, I was like, that kind of doesn't make any sense. Um, I do appreciate that this movie tried something different from the other movies. Like, okay, first movie, Plankton wants to steal the formula with Plan Z. Second movie, Plankton wants to steal the formula, but then the formula disappears and is received by a rando new character called Burger Beard, who wants to use the formula to start a successful fast food business by the seaside cafe. And SpongeBob and Plankton have to work together, which I guess was an interesting twist on that their dynamic when compared to the first movie. So that's kind of cool, I guess. Another notable thing about the second movie was that it was the last project that the creator of the franchise, Steven Hillenburg, had a lot of involvement in. He helped write the story for the movie with Paul Tibbett. So yeah, that's just another fun fact for that film. Third movie that comes out, which is Sponge on the Run, and that one sucked. It once again had the whole like, ooh, Plankton wants to steal formula for the third gosh dang movie in a row. Come on, let's come up with some new ideas, everybody. And him wanting the formula ends up setting like the whole story in motion later on, because he wants to get rid of SpongeBob and Patrick by sending like his like robot and to put them away so he can try to get the formula. I mean, it wasn't the main plot point. It was just little side quests, really, compared to the two other movies. But I mean, the fact that they used that plot point again, just I don't know. I thought it was lazy. So the fact that this movie actually tries something different by having the main character go on a little quest while also working with the Flying Dutchman, who has been a well-established character in the SpongeBob canon for a while, but hasn't really had any big appearances in any like movie. Definitely was a cool change of pace. He was like the main villain this time around, and I kind of like how they made him like the adult of the group who was trying to get things done and stop things from being like severely slowed down by SpongeBob and Patrick's tomfoolery. And I thought that was a neat change of pace from the other three films, so that was nice. Yeah, but if I were to be completely honest about this movie, I feel like a lot of the humor just didn't really land. I mean, I did get a smile on my face seeing like these characters go on like some like a little adventure, and I did get a smile on my face hearing some of the classic music and seeing all like these there was some humor in there that was like, oh, that's kind of funny. But overall, the movie itself just felt kind of lacking and not fully fleshed out. And because of that, um, like, I don't know. I feel like the first movie, like, it had a clear beginning, middle, and end. It had a little hero's journey for SpongeBob to conquer his, fears and become a man, only to realize that it's okay to be like a kid. And then the second movie, it's about SpongeBob and Plankton learning to work together as a team and how important teamwork is. And then the third movie, honestly, I don't really know what the lesson was there other than watch that uh, Camp Coral show that we're going to cancel after 3 or 4 years. Um, that was like the only lesson from that movie. So this one's lesson I thought was kind of neat. It was like basically like, what you want may not be what you actually, was expecting, and that you don't really realize that until after you've received it. And then once you do, you're like, maybe what I wanted was inside me all along, and basically it's just about being yourself and not trying to be something you're not. So it had a good little message, I would say. There's a few yucks here and there, but overall the humor just didn't really consistently land all the time. The animation was really nice. I liked the animation. But overall, I just thought the movie was okay, but not incredibly interesting overall. So, like, if I were to rate it, I think I'd give it like a 6 out of 10. Like, I thought it was okay. I thought the animation was great. I thought there was a few jokes in there that I thought were pretty funny. But overall, it wasn't funny enough to where I was always laughing all the time. And also, just was really, rushed, or it didn't feel fully fleshed out. Like, it felt like a lot of scenes were just in there just to pad time and not to, make use of it in a meaningful and purposeful way. So, yeah. But overall, I thought it was okay. After we were done watching the movie, used the restroom, then we took a little walk. My sister thought she forgot her card. We went back to the theater. She checked, she couldn't find it, so we left after one of my sisters said she was hungry. She wanted caffeine, so we went into separate vehicles. I went with my mom in her car, and my sister went with my other sister in her car. We drove back home. Our family friend got pozole. We had the pozole. It was really good. My mom heated up some tamales, so we had that as well. And yeah, it was like a smorgasbord. It was crazy. And then we got into like long conversations and decided to watch TV for a while, and we jumped from many different things, from like Louis Prima to Louis Armstrong to Bob Hope, to trailers for movies, like Santa Who and Idiocracy. And yeah, we just had a really long watch session. My sister was making cookie icing throughout that whole time, and once it was ready, she invited me, my sister, and my mom over, and we all made cookies. My sister made a cookie shaped like an alien specifically for me, so I decided to color that one green with red eyes because we didn't have any black frosting, and a little red smile. I also did a tree, a Christmas present, and I think that might be it. And after we were done with that, we decided to go for a good walk around the neighborhood, just chilling, hanging out together. And when we were done doing that, we went back inside. And yeah, we decided to oh man, what did we do after that? I think we like watched something, but I'm not remembering exactly what it was. Um but yeah, we watched a new Y-Files. We watched a Y-Files about like a guy who claimed to have been alive for a really long time, since like Jesus was alive, and had witnessed everything between then and there. But really, it was like just a con artist that tricked people into thinking he knew more than what he really knew, which of course makes the most sense. And then after that, we all decided to go for one more walk before eventually deciding to watch the X Files on TV. So we went. My sister made tea, or coffee for me. My other sister, my mom. I brought some chocolates. I brought some apple pie and vanilla Tillamook ice cream, and we all just sat and enjoyed watching some X Files, and it was pretty awesome. And afterwards, my middle sister had to leave, so we said goodbye to her, sang a little song. She left, and then I decided to just chill on my phone for a while, until eventually I decided to brush my teeth, use mouthwash. Oh yeah, and I even showed my middle sister the pizza nuggets video on this channel, as well as the original pizza nuggets. And she thought, well, as long as it's just being used for fun and not to destroy jobs, then I'm okay with it, is what she said. And then after, that, we departed, and I took my vitamins, I brushed my teeth, I used mouthwash, and now I'm gonna go to bed, and that's pretty much my day in a nutshell. I'm really sleepy, so yeah, that's pretty much all there is to say. Thank you so much for watching, and have yourself a Merry Christmas. Take care, everybody, and good night.